Hello friends, this is Shelley. Thank you so much for joining me in this tutorial. If you are new to my channel, Koala Knits and Knacks, then I want to give you an extra special welcome. I'm glad we found each other. And if you're a repeat viewer, then I thank you as well for being back. You know, one lady said in my Facebook group the other day that we're like a bunch of neighbors, and I agree with her. We are like a community of neighbors, and so I say welcome to my neighborhood. Here I am wearing the beanie with the brim folded up, and this is a big twist yarn in white, of course, and I love big twist yarn. It works so well in our machines. And here it is from the back view, so you can see that when you fold up the brim once like this, then it becomes snug to your head and gives a really, really nice look. Here it is with the brim not folded, and then it becomes like a little slouchy beanie. And for that, I added the pom-pom back in. So again, removable pom-pom. And here it is with the back showing. So you can see there's a little bit of a slouch there, but I like how that looks. And so we are going to make this next one, which is made from Yarnspirations Caron Simply Soft in the color Country Blue. All the yarn particulars will be in the description box below, so please look there for that. But this is the one we're going to actually make together. And this yarn, even though it's the same weight as the white, made it up a little bit smaller. I followed the same row counts. Here it is with the brim folded up, and it just feels a little bit smaller than the white one. I don't mind it, I like it, but you might want to add a couple rows to the top just to make it a little bit longer for you. But you know what? The best thing for you to do is to make one, because it doesn't take long and it takes very little yarn. Then change it up however you feel you need to when it comes to length. Because here it is, like it looks nice, it fits nice, and it does stretch a little bit, you know, once you wear it a couple of times. But that's what it looks like from the back with the blue one. And here they are together. The blue one, I took the pom-pom off and folded up the brim, and the white one, of course, the brim is not folded up in this particular picture, but then I switched them out, and here I'll show you the blue one with the pom-pom added and the white one with the brim folded up and no pom-pom. So I think they're great and very versatile. Again, like today is a summer day, and I went for a walk in the park with a friend early this morning, and it was still a little bit cool. We've had some rain, and it's just been a little bit cooler, and this was the perfect weight for that. So you're going to want to make yourself one. And I use my 48 needle Sentro, but you go ahead and use your 46 needle Addi. But friends, please don't forget to hit that like and the subscribe if you haven't done so already. And come on over to my Facebook group and join us over there. You're going to love being in that community of crafters. And so I'd love to have you as a part of that. So once you have your supplies, we're going to get started. Okay, friends, we are going to begin. I'm going to use my beautiful Sentro today. I don't use it nearly enough, and I love it just, you know, almost as much as my Addi. Not quite as much, but I do love it. And I'm going to take my tail, and I'm going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lengths across like that, and that will give us a long enough piece for our long tail cast on. Okay, you're going to then take that little end there, the end of where you measured, and we're going to do a loop. We're going to bring our needles in line with our yarn guide. Now for me, I mark the divider in between the last pink and the first white, just like that. I like my white needle to be my first needle. Now that has number 48 on it, if you can even read there. They're so small, it's hard to see, but technically the white one is number 48, but I ignore these numbers. I use that as my number 1. So if that messes you up, just use whatever your last and your first needle are, put those in line with your yarn guide. We're going to take our yarn loop there that we did, and we're going to pop that loop over the first needle, just like that. Tighten this a little bit, but not too tight. This is where you have to pay attention. This yarn tail right here in my right hand is the one that we just measured and cut off. This one here in my left hand is coming from the ball. We are going to, this one in the front is going to be the one we cut off. This one's coming from the ball. We're going to rotate our handle till we see that next one pop up, just like that. Okay, I'm going to repeat this a couple times just so you know. This is coming out of the ball. I'm going to take both strands put them between my fingers, just like that. I'm going to take my index finger and my thumb and put them in between those two strands. This one is the tail we cut off. This one is coming from the ball. The one that we cut off always goes over your thumb for this technique, okay? So now that we have it held in our fingers, we have our thumb and our finger in there separating it into a V. We're going to turn that just a little bit more so it's just on the side here of our guide. It's just easier for me to get at. Then what we're going to do is we're going to tip our hand back just like that. Now we've got 1, 2, 3. One on this side of our thumb, the second one on that side of our thumb, which is the same strand, of course. And then we'll count this as 3. You're going to go under number 1, over number 2, over number 3, and bring it through between 1 and 2. That's how I'll explain that to you. Then you're going to just spread this open to make it a little bit tighter. Put that loop down over your needle. Don't tighten it too tight. We're going to tighten it at the end of the project, so no sense tightening these really tight on your needles and then struggling with the next row. Okay, rotate your handle. This one is coming out of the strand that we measured and cut off. Make sure. Okay, this one's coming out of the ball. I'm going to hold them in with my fingers, put my index finger and my thumb in there, spread them out, gives me a V. Then I'm going to tip my hand up, go under number 1, over 2, over 3, and bring that third one between 1 and 2. Then you can pull on both strands a little bit and it will tighten that loop. You can get that on over that needle. Again, don't tighten it. We are doing this long tail cast on so that when we have our project off the machine, we're going to be able to make a stretchy edge to our rib so that it fits over our head. So you don't have to worry about how loose this is right now because we're going to tighten them up and make it neater when we have it off, our project off the machine. And I'll show you that, of course, when we get to that point. But for now, just keep it, loose, more loose than tight. So I'm going to go ahead, rotate that just so that this is just on the other side. I'm going to pick that up, put that loop over top. Then just spread them apart a little bit just to tighten the loop a little bit, but not too much. Then I'm going to go ahead, make another loop. I do have a video on how to do the long tail cast on, and I show you with knitting needles so you can actually see, maybe get a better visual. So go ahead and look up that video as well if you like. But again, this one's coming out of the ball. This one's coming out of the tail that I cut off. I'm going to hold them between my 3 fingers like that. This one, the third one loosens up in a second, but I'm going to put my index finger and my thumb in there. I'm going to spread it apart. This one's from the ball. This one's from the long tail. I'm going to turn up my hand. It loosens as you turn your hand. Don't hold it so tight that it can't flow and get, you can't get this position because you're holding it so tight. When I've got it in my hand like this, you can see how it's just like putting some slack on there as I twist my hand so that it's not really tight. Then I'm going to go under 1, over 2, over 3, and go between 1 and 2. Take that loop, pop it on the needle. Pop it on the needle, see? And give it a little tight. Okay, we're going to go to the next needle, do the same thing. And once you get in the groove of it, seriously, you'll do this with no trouble and you'll be a whiz at it and it'll go much faster. The first few times you do it, you're going to be saying, Shelley, I'm not following any more of your patterns. This is way too hard. But I'm telling you, friends, if I can figure it out and learn it and get it, you can figure it out and learn it and get it. Sometimes some of these techniques just take a little bit of patience, a little bit of practice, and then you can sail along just like what I'm doing. Making sure that the one over your thumb is always the long tail that you cut off. The one that's in closer to the center of the barrel is always coming out of your ball. Putting both fingers in there, opening it into a V, twisting it up, going under 1, over 2, over 3, and in between, putting that loop over the next needle. Again, tighten it a little bit, just so that it, takes its shape, but not too tight, because we're going to do that all when we get it off the machine. And you're going to do this all the way around. And if you run out of long tail, then these are way too loose, and and you're going to be cussing me out because you'll have to start over. So maybe, you know, if you're new at this and you've watched this video through before you actually started, give yourself maybe even a little bit longer, but you know, doing it the way I did, it should give you plenty. Okay, so we are going to continue all the way around with our long tail cast on. Friends, have fun. When you're getting frustrated, just smile. It will change things. And you can do it. Keep going. I'm going to be so proud of you if this is your first one. When you post this in my Facebook group, you say, this is my first time I've done it. And I want to cheer you on. Okay? So go ahead. Continue all the way around. I'll see you when we get to the last needle. There, just finished the last one. Pop that loop down over top. I'm putting my yarn tail into the center, and I cut it off. Actually, I had quite a bit left, which is great. And I'm going to put this yarn tail in between the last pink and the first white. Set my counter to 0. We are going to knit 15 rows, making sure as these needles all come past this guide that you watch to make sure that that loop goes down over the 2 red or pink teeth, sorry, red on my Addi. 2 pink teeth, and sometimes they're a little bit difficult because of the way we cast on. So I'm just going to let this naturally flow, and I'm going to pull it tight after every 3 or 4 needles just to tighten up my tension. But I'm just going to help those, see how that was loopy? I'm just going to give it a pull after 3 or 4 needles, just because I don't have a tensioner in here, okay? My tensioner broke off of this machine. I don't have one, so I'm going to just do it that way. I want to make sure that the needles are going down, that the loop is going down over those 2 little pink needles for this first row. Well, for all of the rows, but the first one is the one you have to pay particular attention about. I'm pushing them down with my finger. Give that a little bit of snug up. And it doesn't matter, we're going to tighten that first row when we get it off anyway, so I'm not paying too much attention to it. Okay. But those little knots sometimes don't want to slip down over those teeth until we get some weight coming down here. There we go. This looks painful, but it's really not. Just that my Sentro has a different feel than my Addi, of course, and it seems to stick more. So there we go. We've got 1 row done, and then I'm going to, and it's not as stable. I do use my Addi clamps to hold down the legs, and I do have a video on that if you want to see how I use those clamps to hold down my Sentros. I love my Sentros, don't get me wrong. I love them. But they are not the same as an Addi. They're not as sturdy. They're not as good quality, of course. And you know, that's reflected in the price. That's a given. That's not like an insult to any of you who have Sentros and don't have Addis. Sentros are wonderful. I love mine. I have 3 of them. Like, I love my Sentros. But they don't compare to the Addi. They really don't. Many people ask that all the time. And if they did, if they were the same as the Addi and a third the price, nobody would have Addis. They would have the Sentro. So price alone should tell you that the Addi is a better quality. But you can do anything on the Sentro that you can do on the Addi. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more patience. But now we're going, and here we go. Like, the counters are terrible on the Sentros. So I have these counters that work on a magnet, and that's what's counting for me, and I love them. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to keep going. And we're going to knit until we get 15 rows. Okay, so I'm going the speed and the tension that this yarn likes with this machine. Generally, I hold my yarn like this, and that's a very light tension, and you move it up a little bit, and it's a little bit tighter tension. But I'm holding it, because I need to hold my fingers here to help steady this, I have it between my thumb and my finger just like that. And I am putting a very light tension on it, okay, as I knit. And I'm going to go around and keep going till I get 15 rows. See how easy this is now? Once you get some tension, some weight down here, then those loops fall down over those pink teeth and the machine loves it. So keep going, friends, till you get to 15 rows. Okay, friends, so we have our 15 rows done. Now let the fun begin. We are going to do our ribbing. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit this first needle. So turn your handle. This needle's going to pick it up. I find it easier. Well, you have to take it out. Really, it works the best, obviously, if you take it out. We're going to let that needle drop down with that yarn. Then I take my yarn and I put it between the two teeth of that needle and just let it drop. Actually, when I do it on my Addi, I wrap it around my yarn guide that's here. So I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but I'm going to wrap it around that white counter there just to hold it in place, because then I don't want that loop to lift up over those pink teeth as we're working this next needle. I'm going to go a little bit further so that this drops down a little bit more. I'm going to take my pick. I'm going to grab that loop that's on that needle. We're going to take it off just like that. Okay, now what we're going to do, get my hand out of the way, is we're going to unpick 15 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be careful when you get close to the bottom. You don't want to drop the loop. The last loop that you're going to have in your thumb, you want to keep that loop tight in your thumb. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and I want to unpick one more row, and I'm holding that loop. 15. I'm showing you with yarn that snags easy. If you're using a different yarn, that might not be the problem, but that's okay. We're going to then take our crochet hook, and I just grabbed the 5mm. I'm going to go from the top down into that loop that I'm holding with my thumb and my finger, and I'm going to continue holding it so that there's some tension on it. I'm going to pick up that next loop. I'm going to bring it through the loop that's on my hook. Then I'm going to pick up the next loop, bring it through the loop that's on my hook, the next loop, and the next, working all the way up. If you use too small of a hook, you're going to keep dropping your bars and get frustrated, okay? So I use a 5mm. Here's where you want to be careful when you get to this last bar, because you don't want to pull up so hard that this loop falls off, and that's why I anchor this strand there. Make sure that that strand is out from underneath both of these dividers. It gives you some more slack on it. Then work that stitch. Now put both bars back underneath the divider on each side, because then when you pull this up, it's not compromising stitches on either side. Put that loop over top of those two stitches. Unwind your yarn tail from here. You're going to take it underneath that bar. I back up just ever so slightly just so I can get it underneath that nook of that needle, just like that. I'm going to knit that row that I just ribbed. I'm going to knit the next one, and we're going to repeat the process in between those little pink teeth. Wrap it around my counter, my white counter of the machine twice. Then I'm going to just push that down there with my thumb. I'm going to move it over just a little bit more. We're going to take off that loop. We're going to unpick 15 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, making sure you're holding that with your thumb and your finger. 15, just like that. Your hook goes into that loop from the top down. You're going to grab that bar above it, work it through the loop. Grab the next one, work it. So you're working 15 bars, 15 stitches all the way up. It's fun. You know, it's not hard. You don't have to be a crocheter to do this. Some people will say, oh, I don't crochet, I can't do it. Well, yeah, you can. You're not really crocheting. You're just using your hook. Okay? Make sure that bar is out from underneath both of those dividers to give it some slack. And you can be careful to work that one. Then put those bars both back underneath the dividers. Slip it over top of that needle. This one slipped down quite a bit. Then you're going to unwind that. Go under the bar, under the needle of the row that we just knit, and then knit the next one. Repeat the process through those two teeth, wrap around. I'll do one more with you. I'm going to bring this over just a little bit more. I'm going to take my loom pick. I'm going to take that loop off. I'm going to unpick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And I'm going to work them up. Once you get the hang of this, friends, like anything, it goes fast. Oops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've got to take those bars out from underneath to give it some slack. And 15. Put the bars both back underneath the dividers on both sides of the needle. Pop that over the 2 pink teeth. Unwind my yarn tail. Underneath the divider, underneath the nook of the needle that we just did that row of, and knit the next one. Repeat the process. So we are ribbing every second needle, and you are going to do that all the way around. If you need to see it again, back up the video and watch it. You can again click that gear in the top right corner and slow it down and watch what I do, and go ahead and do it. Have fun, enjoy the process. I'll see you when you get around to the other side. Just finishing up here, I ribbed this one, I just knit this one. I'm gonna wrap that around. We're going to rib this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Just grabbing those little bars on the side of the loop to loosen them, as you've noticed when you were watching me teach you. I hope you noticed that anyways. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but there we go. Almost done here. I'm gonna finish this one. Sometimes that last one can be tight, but you just pull down on that stitch and you make it work. Got that one done. I'm going to now go under that divider, back that up just a little bit, knit this one that I just ribbed and the next one. And I have one more to do. And that works out because we knit this first one, so we know we need to rib the one that's right to the right of it. The last one will get ribbed, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Working my last rib. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now I'm going to just turn this a little bit because that needle's a little bit high. There we go. And we're going to finish knitting that last needle. Pop that into there. It's going to finish it as we go the next round, but it's ready to pick it up. Now I'm going to reset my counter because for you, if it didn't, like, I have a magnet on mine because my counter lasted maybe one turn of this machine when I got it. These Sentro counters are the worst. So I've got this counter on here that works by a magnet. So then when I was ribbing, of course I'm going to do the one stitch and then I back it up a little bit and it goes back and forth just a little bit as I work them, and it counted 2 rows. So it says 17 on there and I don't want to get mixed up. So I'm going to just reset it to 0. So now we know that we have done 15 rows of rib. We did 1 row as we went around and did our ribbing. So now we have 16 rows on our project. We want to have 50 in total. So I'm going to do 34 more rows. I'm going to do just knit. And that's if you've seen how this looked in the picture at the beginning of the video. If you want your slouchier or longer, then of course you knit as many rows as you want. I'm going to go ahead and knit 50. I'm going to make sure those little loops, pardon me, 50 in total. Those little loops are going down over those teeth as I go around on this first row here. after manipulating the rows. There we go. And now it clicked on 2 rows. So I'm going to do 34 knit rows just like this. So 16 and 34 is 50, okay? And this yarn works up like a dream in the machine. Once you've got some weight here to pull those little loops down, you can just be assured you can probably just keep going because, again, the machine loves this yarn. So I'm going to go until I have 34 rows on my counter. And when I get to that last row, I'll come back and see you. Just coming up on row 34, but my counter won't change until the magnet connects with it, and I like to move my magnet a little bit farther down than the beginning few stitches. So there we go, that's 34. I'm going to watch for it to come around. This black divider, I'm going to put it in front of my yarn guide, just like that. And there we go. We've got 15 rows of rib knit and 35 rows of straight knit. Okay, so that 1 row, as we did our rib knitting, that counted as 1 row, of course. And then we did 34 more, making 35 rows of straight knit. Again, 15 rows of rib knit, making 50 rows all together. Again, you can see at the beginning of the video how long it is on my head, what it looks like. If you want to make it slouchier or you want to make it shorter, then you can adjust accordingly. You can make your ribbing shorter and adjust accordingly, but all in total, I've got 50 rows, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut off a long tail end and we're going to cast off. Pop that between the last pink and the first white needle. We're going to grab our needle and we are going to finish knitting this one, and this one still has to knit, so we're going to make sure that that's done there. Then as that first needle drops down, you can go ahead and remove the loop. And keep turning your handle, and you can remove this loop. Every loop where the needles drop down, you can remove. Be very careful if you're new at this. You notice how I am pulling my yarn straight out, because if I lift up and pull off like this, then if I was to go too much tension, I could take the loop off of that needle and drop that row. You don't want to do that, so you want to be very, very careful. And once you get some slack in here, oops, there we go, my clamp came undone. I used my Addi clamps to clamp this down and one just came on loose. Then I go like this. And if you want to see how I do that, if you have an Addi and you have the clamps and you also have a Sentro, go look for my video that shows you how I use my Addi clamps to clamp down my Sentro. Maybe that'll help you too. There we go, and I'm holding these stitches on my needle with my thumb, bringing that yarn tail through. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off all the stitches. Okay, go ahead, remove all the stitches from your machine, and I'll see you when you get to the end. There we go. I've got my project off the machine. Now I don't want you to pull this too tight. Don't close it tightly yet, because we're going to close it in a certain way. But there you go. Look at that. Once we stretch it out, it's going to be gorgeous. I'm going to remove my machine and then I'll be back with you. All right, friends, we have our project off the machine. First thing we are going to do is stretch it out widthwise and lengthwise. I'm going to do the ribbing by itself here, and then I'll do the rest. Look at that. Isn't that like, oh, love it so much already. Okay, we're going to work on the top first up here, and then we will work down here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn tail here, and I can cut it off. Don't need it quite so long. I am going to use a removable pom-pom in this beanie, so I'm going to use my cinch guide here. Here's my removable pom-pom. I get them from Pom-kins.com. You will find the link in the description box below. You can contact Renda or Sam, and they will help you out with that. They've got some neat little gadgets. If you need Addi stopper, like if you need stoppers for your Sentro, you can get them from them as well. And like everything's very inexpensive, and they're just wonderful people to deal with. So go ahead and give them a shout out. If you don't have a cinch guide to figure out how tight to close this, and just put a pen in there and close it with the width of a pen. Okay, for now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pop that cinch guide in there, and the reason why we use that is so we know how big to make this hole so that this fits in when we have our pom-pom on it. Okay, I'm going to cut this a little bit shorter again. These are two of my favorite things, and you see me promoting them on my channel all the time because I absolutely love them. I think they're just the best thing since sliced bread. Okay, we're going to smooth that out like that, and we're going to just take our needle and we're going to go around that very top row of stitches just to reinforce this closed. And so when you're wearing it without a pom-pom, I've had people say, well, isn't the hole too big? No, it's actually not. It's perfect. And it's not noticeable unless you point it out to people. And it's, yeah, you're going to love it. This is just ingenious. I'm going to keep going around there. When I get all the way around, which I am almost there, pull that as tight as I can get it without snapping the yarn tail. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up 2 strands there, and I'm going to tie a knot. Push that knot down with my thumb. I'm going to tie one more. Push that knot down with my thumb. I can remove this cinch guide. I'm going to take this yarn tail. I'm going to pop it into that hole. Pull so that that knot comes to the inside, and then I'm just going to go around just to hide this. Because it's a single layer, you do not have 2 pieces to hide it between. So we're just going to go around that top row of stitches one more time, but on the inside here. I'm just going to go around halfway and then come back. Just like that. Cut this yarn tail off, and you are ready for your pom-pom, which we will do at the end of this video. But what we're going to do now, see, look at that. There's a little hole there, but it's when this beanie is on, nobody sees it unless they're standing on a chair and looking at the top of your head. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go down to the bottom here, and we're going to find our yarn tail. So when your tail is coming out on this side, you see that it's coming from this direction. Okay, so we're going to start to the right of it, and we're going to come around so that when we get to this tail, we pull on it and it pulls the slack. I had a little snag in there, so I had to start it already, but I'll still show you what you do. What you do is you find all these loops. See, they're very clear right there, all these big loops. You take one and you just pull it to the right. Don't pull too tight because you can easily get a knot in here, and if you get a knot, then you're going to struggle. Then take this next one that went a little bit tighter, and you're going to just grab it and just pull it. And I'm not tightening this. I'm just making it look nice. We need the stretch in it, so you're just making it look presentable. See, again, you can see all these loops here. Those are ones you're grabbing. So I'm going to take this next one. You can see where this end of this loop is. Right underneath it is that next loop. We're going to just take it. And we're going to pull it just like that. Then here's where my tail is. Here's the loop. I'm going to take it. And it's awkward because you're pulling it in. It's coming out this way and then pulling this way. So that's why take your time until you get the feel of it. Now here's where it is. This is my loop that's underneath it that's hiding there. It's a little tight. It's right underneath it. And I'm going to just take that. Have your needle handy. Helps you pick it up. And we're going to do that all the way around our beanie. See, this one looks like it might be hard to find. There we go. And it's still loose, but it's just neat. And I'm just going to neaten that one up. And then this next one. And I'm getting a longer tail as I go along, okay? There we go. This next loop. And friends, you're going to do that all the way around. Sometimes it's hard to find, so take your time so you don't pull on the wrong one too tight and then make a knot. But underneath this, you'll see the bar, and you're going to just pull on it. Another therapeutic technique brought to you by Shelley on Knacks and Knacks. The other one, as we know, is the drop stitch. So enjoy the process. I'm going to just keep doing that, lifting it up and find the little bar that's underneath, pulling on it very gently, bringing this through until this is nice and smooth and even, but still has lots of give and stretch in it. Here's my loop. I'll take that little bar that's right underneath it. Okay, friends, you keep going till you get all the way around, and I'll meet you back. This is a coffee drinking technique, so you need to have some coffee or something to drink while you do this. As you get close to the end, sometimes these bars get really tight. So here's what I do. I'm going to go underneath that bar. I'm going to pinch to the right of it. And then I'm going to pull this. Making sure I don't knot it. But just like that. And then I can easily see, because sometimes this bar will get really tight. And then you get confused when you get to the end. So I'm going to pinch that and very gently pull this through. Get that out of the way. Take this next one. Those little bars that I was picking up in the end, or in the beginning, that you were seeing, are these big loops. But as you pull this through, it tightens the loop, and that's why you look for that little bar that's underneath. But at the end here, it can get really messy really fast. So see there, I can already see that's gonna, I don't know why that is. Maybe because this big loop starts to twist and twist as you're pulling it through. It gets tired of being pulled through. So you got to be very careful. So when you get to the end, again, friends, go slow. I'm not even though I'm so close, I'm not even guaranteed that I'm not going to get a knot right now, because, and I'm crossing my fingers that we can make it through, because I feel it's hard to tug on right now, because this thing gets all frayed a little bit. And with this particular yarn, the yarn you're using might not have this problem, but you can see it. Stick my finger in that loop, pull it through. And let's hope that we can see there's that little bar. It slipped under my finger and tightened up. I'm gonna now pull this one through. I'm almost at the end, so that one was easy. Success. Then you pull the tail, and there you go. Oh, this beginning one was a little loose, but that's okay. We've got it nice and neat, but it's stretchy because it's ribbed. If you would have pulled it really tight, it would have been like, it would have been tight here and stretchy here. So that's why I said you make it nice and neat, and nice and even, but you don't pull it too tight. Then we're gonna right away go ahead and hide this. I don't like that big loop there, but I'm going to stretch this all once I get that. Where am I going to go here? I'm going to go here. I'm going to stretch it all again and spread it out a little bit when I'm done. So I'm going to tie my knot there, and I'm going to tie another one. Pick a good place where you can tie it here. And then basically on the inside, you're just going to weave it in and out of this rib edge, because we have nowhere to hide it. So just like that, and then I'm going to come back through just like that, and then because I don't want this sticking out the end, I'm going to go back up 2 or 3 stitches and then cut it off. My neighbor's outside working so hard. I can hear her through my window. Maybe you can hear it too. She's shoveling something or other. There we go. Cut that off. Just going to give this a light tug. And there we go. We've got our beanie, our beautiful, beautiful ribbed band beanie. It's a single layer, so if you're living in a warmer climate, or it's just like for us, if it's a cool day and you want to go out for a walk or something, you need something light, this is perfect. As a matter of fact, I have a white one that I made. Here it is. You saw it at the beginning of the video. I went for a walk at the park today with a friend, and it's a bit of a drizzly day. And so it's a little bit cool. Now the sun is shining, but this morning it was not a nice morning. So I wore this. I rolled this up like this and I put it on, and it was perfect. So there you go. I love it. I hope you do too. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a pom-pom. So I am going to use my Clover pom-pom maker, and this has a 65 on the back if you need to, if that helps you with size. I don't know what the 65 means, but they all have different numbers on them. So this is the one that I use. It's the third. I have a set of 4, and it's the third largest, and that's the one that I made this pom-pom with. I'm going to tell you how many rounds I did, but I'm not going to make it on this video because I have a video showing you how to make these. I took a double strand, one white and one of the blue, and I did 80 wraps on this side, 80 wraps on that side. Then I went ahead and used it as we do. So go ahead, look up my tutorial on how to make a pom-pom with a Clover pom-pom maker, and I'll show you how to do that, okay? I see I have a few little strands to trim up, but we're going to go ahead. We're going to take our Pom-kins. If you do not have one of these, then of course you would have tightened this tight and sewn this on how you normally do, okay? But I am going to take this. I'm going to wrap 2 of these strands around that way and push it all the way down to the end. Then I'm going to take the next 2 and I'm going to wrap them around the opposite direction. 1 full circle. Push those into the middle. I'm going to take these 2. I'm going to tie a very firm knot. 1. So simple. And 2. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these off so that they are the same length as the rest of the pom-pom strands. You can do this several ways. Some people take it and put it on the needle and put it up through the pom-pom and cut it off up here. I don't feel I need to, so, but you can if you want to, however you want to. Then you bend this in half and it springs back. It's hard to bend sometimes, but that's good because that's what it's supposed to be. And it springs open on the inside of your hat. You pop that into that little space that you made with your little cinch guide. And when you get it in, it opens like that. Okay, now here's the reason why people pop it into their pom-pom. Cut it off because then you don't see this. I'm making this for me and I forgot about that little detail. So blooper. But anyway, so now you see this little thing. I can't hide it in between because there's not a second layer. So what you're going to do is next time, don't cut it off quite so short. And you're going to put it on your needle and you're going to string it up through your pom-pom and cut it off at the top here to be the same height, okay? Don't matter to me because this is for me. I love these hats. I go for lots of walks during the days and stuff, and in the evenings we go for a lot of bike rides, and if it's cool, these are the ones I'm going to wear. So you can fold up the brim and wear it right close to your head, and when you do that, I take this off because I like the look of it without a pom-pom when this is off. You just squeeze it and pull it out. See how easy that is? And when I want to wear it as a slouchy, I roll it down. It's a slouchy, and then I'll put the pom-pom back on, as you saw in the beginning of the video. So friends, you have many options with this. Like I think I already mentioned this too, but I'm going to mention it again. We did 15 and 35. You can do 10 and 40. If you want it the same length that I've got it, I've done 50 rows. And, you know, the best thing to do is to try it on and see how it fits. Make one, try it on, see how you like it on your head, and make adjustments accordingly. Everybody's tension is different. The yarn that you use might be different than mine, but this is the length that I like because it's versatile. I can wear it as a slouchy or I can wear it as a beanie that's snug to my head. And there you have it. Blooper fixed. I put it back in, but I held those little fibers to the outside as I pushed it in, and they're all along here. So hey, it worked. Now I'm going to cut this little thing off. So anyways, video bloopers fixed. There they are. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, friends. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I sure appreciate it. When you make one, please come on over to my Facebook group and show us. We'd love to see. We have like almost 20,000, maybe by the time you make one and come on over there, we'll have hit 20,000 members in that group already. Can't believe it. But it's a wonderful neighborhood of friends. So please come on over and join us, show us your make, and let us cheer you on. So if you also are posting in other Facebook groups, please always add the link to my videos. I'd appreciate your support in that so much so that others can find it as well. But for now, friends, I say thanks again for joining me. Thank you for being a part of my channel community, and I really appreciate you. Take care and have a blessed day.